you aware that as we speak, Chris Hughton was selected because of his relationship with Gabriel Sariochidako? Look, those of us in football, we know things.
There can be only two justifications for the budgeted $8.5 million for the AFCON. Two. One, anybody who tries to justify this is either parts of the loot.
Thank you.
And two, very ignorant of football, especially about the AFCON. These are the only two. If you see anybody trying to justify, the person is first and foremost part of the loot or has benefited grossly from this budget. Or secondly, the person doesn't know what football is about. I have curated the budget for almost 16 of the teams in the AFCON. And I can tell you for a fact, for instance, Namibia came to camp in Ghana and their budget is not up to $1.1 million. Namibia flew to Ghana, and that is inclusive of their budget, because the entire football budget of Namibia for the whole year, not the AFCON, the entire football budget in their country is $2.2 million.
Are you aware that as we speak, Chris Hughton was selected because of his relationship with Gabriel Sariochidako? Look, those of us in football, we know things. And I'm saying that if Gabi or anybody doubts this, they can take me anywhere. I'm telling you, I am in football. Some of them were selected. Chris was selected because of his relationship with people in government. Look, Roland, I am an angry football fan. I am an angry Ghanaian. Because my task, let me tell you something that went on at AFCON, just to conclude.
Please,
before AFCON, yes, before AFCON, I had slots.
Please put the Afrobarometer slide.
Yes, we'll go there. I had the opportunity to send about 4 or 5 people to also go and watch the game in Cote d'Ivoire. But you know why I refused to send my people? They sent thousands of MPP supporters and delegates, and they paid them $400 after the first match. When Ghana lost to Cape Verde, the supporters organized a press conference and said that they were going to boycott the second match against Egypt. Then before the second match, $400 was paid to MPP supporters. Thousands of them. Thousands of MPP supporters, thousands of MPP polling station executives were taken. They were selected through the district chief executives.
This Anas Arimiyao Anas is responsible for what has happened. The emptiness of Ghana football is Anas Arimiyao Anas. What did he do? He hoodwinked everybody, dribbled everybody, deceived everybody into creating an image for himself and bringing down Kwesi Nyantakyi. Anas brought Kwesi Nyantakyi from here to here. Kwesi Nyantakyi was here. Anas brought him to here based on what? Lies. Based on what? Fabrications. Based on what? Concoctions. Because they had a penchant for an unhealthy penchant and appetite for glass. And who are the guilty parties? Here, Anas Arimiyao and this Kisi Ajabe. They are the guilty parties. They are the two people responsible for the emptiness of our football. Kisi Ajabe was standing there. Kwesi Nyantakyi had appointed him as a committee chairman of the Football Association because he was a brilliant up-and-coming lawyer. He was in the company of Kwesi Nyantakyi in Dubai when Nyantakyi walked into the deadly trap of this Anas Arimiyao Anas. This wicked man. Wicked. He has a penchant for glass, an appetite for glass. What is journalism? Read it, analyze it, discuss it, and tell us a story. He puts cameras on his body, sat Kwesi Nyantakyi down with some regular guy from the streets, as Kennedy Japan says, regular guy in the streets of Dubai, put him down and says, Mr. Nyantakyi, come. Why was it? Nyantakyi was extremely successful with Ghana football. I had been speaking to him forever. He was passionate about the local league. Anas Arimiyao Anas arranged to call him that somebody in Dubai wanted to sponsor the local league. He paid his own ticket and went to the person in Dubai. Because of his relationship, today he's not present again, we can say it. Because of his relationship with footballer George Oponwia, who had been president of Liberia, Kwesi Nyantakyi went to Dubai and said, you want to sponsor me? I also need to sponsor George Oponwia. He's running for president of Liberia. He's a member of the football community and we love him. He took George Oponwia there twice. They didn't meet the businessman because Oponwia was there. They knew what they wanted to do. They were not sponsoring the Ghana League at all. They were not giving any money to sponsor the Ghana League. They wanted to find a way to disgrace Kwesi Nyantakyi so that Anas will be able to eat up his glass. Anas will eat up his glass. He goes to stand in Germany. And German children, small German children, are now pointing to his dishonesty. He stands before them and say he makes money from likes and ticks. He doesn't have a single studio. This table, he doesn't have some. Anas doesn't have a single studio to do video, to do likes and ticks. Criminals. He doesn't have a studio to do likes and ticks. German children expose him. The story is like the young child who saw Peter at the crucifixion of Jesus and said, "You are one of them." And Peter said, "I'm not." A small child embarrassed and disgraced Anas in Germany. He asked him, "Where do you get your money from?" Then he's there, sheepishly looking, telling lies. Say, "I get my money from likes and ticks." Newspaper, crusading guy, his likes and ticks. Has Anas got studio before? Has Anas produced a television program before to get likes and ticks? Total criminality. And today we are complaining. Kwesi Nyantakyi had a team. Why All Stars? I sat in Alisa Hotel with him, not far from here. He will call me and say, "Paulus, come." I said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm at Alisa Hotel." I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm watching Spanish football." I said, "Oh, me, I don't want to watch Spanish." He said, "You British people, Spanish football, a whole ball saying, but come and let's watch." Then I'll be asking him that, "But your players are All Stars. Why don't they play for Black Stars?" I say, "Oh, my players cannot play Black Stars." "Oh, but they do well. I sell them to Europe second division. It's not bad." Kwesi Nyantakyi was president of the Football Association. Not one of his players at All Stars played for the Black Stars. Sly Tete was a member of the Football Association. I hear you, Neil Ante van der Poel. I hear you. But Sly Tete was a member of the Football Association. His players played for Black Stars. Name them. Michael Essien, superstar. Sule Muntari, superstar. Asamoah Gyan, superstar. Bafojan, superstar. Sly Tete produced superstar players. We are not saying that your players cannot play for Black Stars. That's why I say I hear you, Neil Ante van der Poel. But listen to this. We are not saying your players cannot play for Black Stars. But you're a football administrator. You know which player is good and which player is not good. Even me, I'm not a football administrator. I know that Baba Rahman is not good. I know. I'm not a football administrator. You are a football administrator. We know Asamoah Gyan is good. We know Dede Ayew is good. We know Ashimero is great. But we know that Baba Rahman is not good. Not that he's bad, but he's not good for Black Stars and the standards we know. He can play something. After all, he played for Chelsea. Kwesi Nyantakyi didn't play one of his players. And because of Anas's penchant and appetite for greed, and go and tell German children that you make money from likes and ticks. The impudence of it. These are the people who have destroyed Ghana football. Kisi Ajabi here, who has disgraced himself before the High Court today. He and Anas and Rimiya Anas, they have made Ghana football 3 empty circles. And we are looking for who? Keto Kreku. What has he done? There's a GBC post today, maybe they'll show it, that are we looking for Kwesi Nyantakyi again? How can we, Ghana, since Ohini Gyan, we have not been able to nurture any great football administrator up to the level of FIFA? Kwesi Nyantakyi was the one who was getting there. And how did Kwesi get there? By dint of his own hard work. Kwesi became a lawyer. He was practicing with Tadio Sori. I think at some point even Ambrose Derry. He would spend all his time at Galka. My friend Tony Amofah, he rest in peace. He introduced me to Kwesi Nyantakyi because at that time Galka's office was at the stadium. Every day Kwesi Nyantakyi is there. I say, but the lawyer, the clubs are coming. The clubs have no money to pay him. They are bringing their cases to lawyer. The DFA disciplinary committee. Kwesi worked his way through. Nyahota Maklo, the great Nyahota Maklo, he identified Kwesi Nyantakyi and said, this guy can be GFA president. Nyahota Maklo. And that's how Kwesi Nyantakyi became. Sir Blatter didn't know him. Sir Blatter met him and he fell in love with him. Issa Hayatu didn't know him. Hayatu met him and fell in love with him. Go and ask Kofi Amoah. Kwesi Nyantakyi is the reason why we were able to hold CAN 2008. At that time, Egypt wanted it. South Africa wanted it. Nigeria wanted it. Because of the contest of Kwesi Nyantakyi, the tournament came to Ghana. We were great for it. And Anas's greed, Kisi Ajabi's greed, their greed and appetite for criminality, They go and throw money at him. When the man has spent his money to come to Dubai, and you tell him that this is your money for the Dubai, they throw it at him, show a film, and say that sack him. Greedy people. Greed. God will forgive them.
Take it to AFCON. $400 of our taxpayers' money. At the time, government is unable to pay capitation grants. At the time, government is able to finance school feeding program. As we speak today, school feeding is no more a daily program. In some schools, they feed the kids twice a week. All this mess is happening.
This from
and you justify 8.5 million.
Says
shameful. Roland, very, very shameful.
So they cannot spend that entire
you said
budget.
Namibia, that even did well than Ghana.
Yes. It's public knowledge. It was presented to their parliament. Not more than $2.2 million for the entire football in Namibia. So they couldn't have spent 1.1 million. So it is less than 1.1. Zambia budgeted $2.1 million for the AFCON. And it is a complete controversy in the parliament of Zambia because they don't believe. Roland, CAF caters for over 40 officials. The hotel accommodation, feeding, and other expenses, including domestic transport for the teams, is catered for by CAF. So when you want to budget 8.5 million for the AFCON, it's either you, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and the GFA have conspired to create loot and share, which has been the practice over the years. And I was being told by a former management committee member of the Black Stars in confidence, and I have records of this, that even the Ministry of Youth and Sports have their share in this budget. And this is also public knowledge in the Jamepe committee. It's a silent conspiracy theory between the ministry and the GFA, because it is quite unbelievable that anybody will stand up in this country and prepare a budget in excess of even $2 million for an African Cup of Nations that is close next door. Secondly, almost 85 to 90% of this will go into the payment of unscrupulous bonuses to individuals that extends to officials of the ministry who are paid with the taxpayer. How can you send a person from the Ministry of Sports to join the team in the expenditure of in expending for the team at the tournament, and the person is paid for? They have their per diem, their hotel accommodation is catered by government, and the association ends up paying the person $10,000 as an appearance fee. How do you do this? The management committee spends 8 days in a tournament, ends up taking $100,000. It is because the ministry is part of the loot. They wouldn't even approve this. Nigeria, who we ridicule as being corrupt, presented a budget of less than $2 million for this AFCON, and they are still in the competition.
Nigeria?
I would even wonder. Of course, these are public knowledge. These are things that are public. You can easily Google. But because Ghanaians only care about the Black Stars when we win, people are, using that as a launch pad to siphon money, to dissipate it. There is a wanton dissipation of resources from this Black Stars. It's become a crime scene. And until Mr. Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa brought this out, I had been inquiring from the ministry, and I was told that I was trying to disrupt the Black Stars campaign by asking for the budget before the tournament. And this was going to be concealed and the money looted till the next AFCON, because we did same during the World Cup. There are sponsors who sponsor the Black Stars. Corporate bodies are on board. These monies are never accounted for, and they still go to the ministry, ask for money from an IMF country. So the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Sports, and GFA are all engaged in this late crime of a Black Stars team.